Hey there, A's Day fans. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of our show, our newest podcast episode, which is available on your favorite platform media outlet, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and so many others, as well as this video edition being available on our YouTube channel at A's Day Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you for spending part of your Tuesday listening to us. And we are just a mere few moments away from the second game of the series against the Texas Rangers. But before we talk about the current series, again, we're a little bit out of whack, and we apologize for our brief absence. It is for good reason, as we were out of town in the Las Vegas area, celebrating our friends as the Kosas are married. Want to congratulate the two of them and wish them nothing but a life of happiness and good health and fortune. So we appreciate them inviting us out to come celebrate their wedding and their marriage. But now we are back here, back behind the mic with our regularly scheduled programming. So while we were away, we're going to do a quick recap as the A's are rolling. They have won 5 of 6. We'll touch upon what's gone down since our last podcast last week. And then we'll fast forward as to what happened last night, just again, a quick recap, and then what to look forward to as we are a few mere moments away from first pitch of game 2 for the Athletics versus the Texas Rangers. So, and then we'll go on ahead and discuss some notable transactions that have gone on, including some guys getting called up, some injuries, so some good news and some bad. So thank you again. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grado. Today's Tuesday, April 29th, and we're going to get all caught up to speed on everything athletics. As I mentioned, the boys are rolling back up over 500, and we're excited to talk all about it. Let's go. Thank you again for tuning in to today's episode of A's Day. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grado. Thank you so much. We love your continued support of A's Day. Before we jump into today's episode, we want to just give you a quick reminder of where you can find us on our social media platforms, on Instagram at A's Day Baseball Podcast, on X, formerly known as Twitter, at A's Day Baseball, and our YouTube channel, like I mentioned at the top of the show, at A's Day Podcast. And to be an official subscriber, be sure to check us out on our Patreon site, patreon.com/A-Day. For just $2 a month, you'll be entered to win monthly A's Day t-shirt giveaways, A's autograph memorabilia, A's future ticket giveaways, and so much more as we are able to grow this platform collaboratively. All right. Thank you again for tuning in today. We're just going to keep this pretty tight as we don't, if you're listening to this as the A's are getting ready to take first pitch, or if you're going to listen after the A's hopefully have won the second game of the series, whatever it may be. Don't want this one to be all long and drawn out. But in case we all need to get caught up to speed together, since we didn't really get to talk about what has been going on approximately over the last 6 games, we want to touch on it today. So, like I mentioned, they have won 5 of 6, and we'll just go through the results here real quick. The A's on the 23rd, which was last Wednesday, they won 5-2 against those Texas Rangers. So these series too, this was during their homestand, and I would say it was certainly a successful one. And then the following night, which was the series deciding game, it was an exciting finish as the A's actually came from behind on a Jacob Wilson walk-off hit. They won 4-3. They came back from 3-2 behind. It was a very exciting finish. Definitely really provided some momentum going into their next series against the White Sox. And it definitely had to invoke some confidence in that clubhouse too. At that time, the Rangers were, at the top of the AL West. They were World Series champions 2 years ago. So, they are going to be one of the horses that they're going to be running with down the stretch if the A's hope to be in a playoff race and perhaps a division race. Guess we'll see how it all shakes out. So definitely winning 2 out of 3 against the Rangers. Their first time meeting this year definitely has to instill a lot of confidence in such a young group that seems to be gelling and really starting to play well together. Then the following series started. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the White Sox. They actually ended up winning 2 out of 3 here. They won 6-5 on Friday. On Saturday, they lost 10-3, an unfortunate one, just one that seemed to just not be their day, and you just kind of scratch that off. And then Sunday, they went into extra innings. In the 10th inning, they win 3-2. An exciting Luis Urias, no doubt, home run to left field. No doubt about it. Bido pitched well, and the A's won another series in dramatic fashion, winning 2 out of 3. And then last night, Monday, the 28th, the A's beat the Texas Rangers in another one-run classic, 2-1. It was an amazing performance by J.P. Sears. Yeah, so it's definitely a good start. And this was the beginning of their road trip. They headed down to Globe Life Field to take on the Texas Rangers for a four-game set this time. So definitely going to be a little familiarity. If you're looking at your TV screen, just thinking you saw that Ranger blue not too long ago, or I guess in this case, it'll probably be their home whites. But nevertheless, seeing that Texas logo, it's got to going to seem a little familiar because yes, they were playing against each other as recent as last week, like I just mentioned a few moments ago, doing some quick overviews of some scores of the successes of the A's on this current 5-1 run. So yeah, they won game one in this Texas series. It was the offense was a 2-run double by Tyler Soderstrom with 2 outs. Just poked a little loop and line drive down the right field line, did the job, and a really nice head first hook slide by Brent Rooker because the ball beat him, I think, just by a hair, but he did a good job avoiding the tag just long enough to get his hand in there, and that was the deciding factor in the game. Sears was amazing in this one. He went 5 2/3, only allowed 1 run. We'll talk about it more on Friday as we do our full recap of what happens in this Texas Ranger series, just kind of to give you, again, just a brief overview of what went down. And now we're going to talk about, what to look for the remainder of the series. It's kind of like a heightened or hyphen or a shortened, excuse me, I couldn't look for the word, a shortened series preview with the 3 remaining games in this Texas Rangers series. We figured there was enough content here to be able to at least pique your interest and give you something to watch in terms of some things to look out for. And we'll do the same thing. We'll do some predictions before we get on out of here. So yeah, we'll start with, it wasn't announced actually until after the conclusion of yesterday's game, but tonight's pitching matchup, the A's are going to go with an opener. Left-handed pitcher Jacob Lopez who was recently recalled from AAA Las Vegas. Will be making the start on the season. He does have 3 games under his belt, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, hasn't allowed a run yet. And his fastball velocity has averaged 90.6 for those of you that do not know much about Lopez. And he works with a 4-pitch mix, fastball, slider, cutter, and changeup. And he will be faced and tasked with going up against Jacob deGrom, who we just saw 5 days ago pitch at Sacramento in a tightly contested ball game, a game in which he pitched well. His numbers on the year, he's 0-1 with a 3.33 ERA, 27 innings pitched, 26 strikeouts, a 1.07 whip. So definitely a strong start to the year. He's definitely looked like some sort of a different version of deGrom, maybe not necessarily flashing the 102, although, it is early in the year, and I'm sure as the season goes on, he might be cutting it loose a little bit more, but still plenty hard, 97, 98. Not going to go too much into deGrom here just because we already, if you tuned into our last series preview against the Rangers, we talked about him quite a bit at length. He's really good. As a reminder, he works with a 4-pitch mix, fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. Again, the MO is to get to him early before he kind of gets into that groove. As we saw the last time out, they did get 2 runs against him eventually, but there could have been more opportunities early in the game, and they just didn't quite capitalize. So hopefully, the A's will have an opportunity to do that. But he is certainly a tough customer, flat out, just really good. And his stuff is disgusting. Really excited to see him throw again. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 6 Ks. He is the opponent, but you got to respect greatness. And when he's out there and healthy, he is one of the better pitchers. So looking forward to this matchup. First pitch is at 5:05. So by the time this is released, I do think this game will be underway. Not too long after, but we'll be sure to be tuning in. If you're listening to this episode, maybe you don't want to listen to the telecast, you want to listen to that on mute, no problem about that. You can have us on in the background while you're enjoying the Rangers and A's series game 2. Hopefully the A's are going to be getting another victorious effort tonight and a good start from a bullpen game. This bullpen is going to have to cover a lot of innings tonight, but we'll see if they're up for the task. Again, tough customer with deGrom. We'll see if the A's are able to take a 2-0 commanding lead in this series, or if the Rangers get this 4-game series even. Game 3, it's going to be Luis Severino. Always love a Sevy day, going up against Nathan Eovaldi, who is a career tough customer. 5:05 first pitch for that one tomorrow too as well. Sevy is 1-3 on the year with a 3.49 ERA and 29 strikeouts. again, he'll go up against Eovaldi, who's 2-2 on the year with a 2.21 ERA. Quite impressive from afar, at 38 strikeouts on the year. But let's dive into a little bit on Eovaldi's 2025, and let's see if those numbers tell the true tale of his season. He does work with a 5-pitch mix, a split finger, fastball, curveball, cutter, slider. On the year, like I mentioned, we mentioned his stats. That was in 36 and 2/3 innings, so he is averaging quite a little bit over 1 strikeout per inning, but right around there. And he does have a .74 whip. So that is pretty impressive. His average fastball velocity is 93.6, which is a little bit of a tick down for the velocity, which is leading to some more hard contact. And this is according to Baseball Savant. His barrel percentage is 9.5, which is 36th in all of baseball, and his hard hit percentage of 44.2 is 33rd in all of baseball. So that's definitely towards the lower third in all of baseball. So it just seems like he's been coming right after people, though. I mean, you're going to make these hitters earn it, but maybe they've been in more hitter-friendly locations. Although the ERA is down and the whip's down, so I guess he hasn't been yielding too many base runners. He does only have a 2.1 walk percentage, which is 98th in all baseball. So very impressive. That means if I'm a hitter, if I'm an ace hitter, I'm going to be ready to hit. It definitely seemed with that hard contact or hard hit percentage and barrel percentage must make you believe that there are going to be opportunities to do some damage in the strike zone. You just got to be ready to hit. Again, this is a guy that you got to get to early, or you're going to be scratching your head wondering where this night went, because he could very well put up a 7-inning, 13K performance without blinking an eye. So definitely another arm that's enjoyable to see. It seems like he's off to a pretty good start, except the contact has been a little bit up and his velo's a little bit down. Could be just some early season kinks he's got to work out, but we'll see how he fares tonight against an A's lineup that has been, putting together some pretty good competitive at-bats of late. Eovaldi's expected ERA of 4.02 may allude to there being a little bit fortunate on his side, whether it's good defense or hard hit contact being hit right at guys. I haven't watched many Rangers games outside of their games against the A's, so it's hard for me to fully say. Rangers fans, you know better than I. But with that, you wonder if maybe his fortune will run out or will at least come back to medium. We'll see how he fares tonight against the A's. He knows how to flat out pitch. He is a winner, multiple-time World Series champion, some big postseason performances. He is definitely a veteran presence in that clubhouse, and he's going to take the ball and lead by example. We'll see what it looks like tonight. Wonder, like I said, if he's going to be the Eovaldi that we've come to know, or with these hittable locations, are the A's going to be able to feast on some of those mistakes? I guess we will see shortly here, as we are very close to first pitch. Just a little brief history here of note. Gio Urshela is 8 for 23 lifetime against Eovaldi. I guess a lot of that history was when Eovaldi was on the Red Sox and Urshela was on the Yankees. They, different division rivals facing off quite often. He's going to be able to add to that tally tonight, either positively or negatively. But he has a home run and a double in his lifetime. That is a .348 career batting average. Shane Langeliers has had some success to it as well, 3 for 9 with a .333 batting average, a home run and 2 doubles. And Tyler Soderstrom, again, off to a great start to his 2025. He is career 2 for 3 with both of those hits being doubles. So look for that extra base hit trend to continue. And for Game 4, we have a matchup of Jeffrey Springs versus Tyler Mahle, a 11:35 Pacific time start. So definitely a little bit of an odd start if you are looking to tune in on Thursday to see how the series wraps up. Mahle is 3-0 with a 1.14 ERA on the year in 31 2/3 innings pitched. He has 28 strikeouts and has a .98 whip. And Jeffrey Springs, 3-3 on the year, 6.04 ERA, 28 1/3 innings pitched, 27 Ks, a 1.6 whip. He's definitely had a couple of rough starts. His last couple times around, he is looking to get back on track after a pretty strong start to the year. So we'll see what that looks like for Springs. As for Mahle, he works with a 4-pitch mix. He has a fastball, split finger, cutter, and slider. And his fastball averages 92 on this year so far. So nothing crazy. He does have above average control and command. He can move the fastball to both sides of the plate. He's not overpowering, so he's not going to have electric stuff, but he toys with hitters' timing by changing his velocity on pitches. So his fastball might be 92 one time. He might drop it down to the 89, 88 just to get guys up front. maybe in the middle it a little bit at 90. And he'll do that with some of his other pitches too as well. And I'm sure he's doing a little bit of that grip manipulation to kind of manipulate that movement on pitches so he can move multiple different directions. So if you have the same pitch working on the same plane by moving two opposite directions, that's really going to confuse a hitter, especially if you're able to mix it up pretty consistently and not just pigeonhole to one location. So yeah, just hearing by what I said, hitting's pretty difficult, isn't it? So it's really amazing what these guys are able to do. But Mahle, to the 1.13 ERA, he's had a really solid start to the year, and he's really pitching to the defense. A lot of ground balls, induces a lot of weak contact. So you wonder what that's going to look like for the A's after facing two higher velocity arms in Eovaldi and DeGrom. So they'll have to make adjustments, but they are going to, again, probably see a lot of strikes to hit. Just got to hit hitters' pitches and not give into pitchers' pitches and try to get him in hitter-friendly counts and have to come back in the zone as compared to him being able to live on the edges. So excited to see how this series goes on. We'll be sure to be tracking it, and we're looking forward to watching tonight's game, which I think, looking at the clock now, it's probably just about to be underway. So very excited about that. But before we get on out of here, let's talk about some notable transactions. We had a couple three people called back up. Hogan Harris, who did some excellent relief duty last week for pitching multiple innings after an early exit from a starter. Definitely a good job being able to not kill the entire bullpen early in the series. Grant Holman he's earned 2 wins on the 2025 season, and 3 games appeared. So very solid ratio for him. I'm sure he would love to continue that trend, being out there towards the end of games and getting meaningful outs that lead to Athletics victories. I'll take that victory if I was him, or any pitcher for sure. And Jacob Lopez, who we talked about earlier in the episode, he's been up and down between AAA just because he has options. But due to some injuries too as well, he is making the start as the opener. Expect him to probably go 2, maybe 3 at most. But I'd say probably 2 innings before they get into the bulk of probably Mitch Spence, if I had to guess. But we'll see what their formula looks like for tonight. And then some unfortunate early injuries for the A's. Jose Leclerc, he's been placed on the 15-day IL with a right lat strain. And JT Ginn, who had been throwing the ball well and slotted into rotation, hence why Lopez is in the rotation now as just an opener. And who knows? We'll see how he fares tonight. And if all goes well, he'll continue to stay in that role until they get Ginn back. He's on the 15-day IL with right elbow inflammation. Always a cause of concern. Both of them, hope they get well soon. Don't rush back because that can only make things worse, but we are excited to get you back sooner rather than later. All right, let's talk about who we are going to make a couple of predictions, who is going to hit a home run, and how we think the series is going to fare. So, home run prediction, we are going to go with the obvious. We think there's 4 games for him to do it, and he definitely has a lot of success during his trips to Globe Life. We're going to pick Shea Bangaliers, catcher, to hit a home run during this series. He does have 7 career home runs at the stadium, and he is from Texas, so it's always some home cooking. Always like to bet on guys to be able to do that. So if you're following along, definitely think Shea Langeliers is going to be the one to do it. And then series prediction, the A's have won game 1 in a close, narrow 2-1 outcome, thanks to some clutch 2-out hitting from Tyler Soderstrom, some excellent pitching from Sears and bullpen. But we think that this one's going to end in a split. We think the rest of the way, it is tough to win road series, and the Texas Rangers, they're still a pretty good team. They haven't really necessarily hit to their full potential, but their pitching's been definitely performing for sure. Do think they got a couple of tough customers coming up, and think, these next 3 guys have been throwing the ball pretty well for the Rangers. So we'll see how it goes. We do, in terms of prediction, we think tonight they'll be, maybe at the short end of the stick against DeGrom, but I think they'll bounce back against either Eovaldi or Mahle. I don't think they'll lose all 3 of those. I do think these 2 teams are just so competitive, and I think all 4 games are going to be within 1 to 3 runs in terms of outcome. So that's what we think. We'll think it will be a 2-2 split, but definitely they have every opportunity, especially winning that first game, to win this series 3 out of 4. So that's all for today's show. Again, wanted to keep it tight. Again, we talked about the A's being on a roll, winning 5 of 6. Some exciting walk-off wins over that homestand, and now starting their trip to Texas on a positive note, winning game 1. And we talked about what to expect during the remainder of this 4-game series, with tonight's first pitch scheduled for 5:05. By the time this is downloaded and is available for your viewing, you should be tuning into the A's, hopefully jumping on the Rangers early. So with that, we're going to get on out of here. We appreciate each and every one of you. Again, this is going to be available on our YouTube channel at A's Day Podcast. And be sure to tune in for updates on our social media pages on Instagram at A's Day Podcast. And I'll be live tweeting, live posting on X at A's Day Baseball during the game that is ongoing as we speak. And then be sure to be an official subscriber on our Patreon site, patreon.com/A's Day, for just $2 a month. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and spending part of your Tuesday with us. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grado. Thank you so much, all of you, this wonderful A's Day community. Have a good rest of your day. Very excited to watch some A's. Holy Toledo, let's go A's and do the Texas two-step.